four of us are part of the team, the Three Philosophers, and yes, I realize that sounds really stupid in hindsight.
It's like Team 4-Star with their like 7, 8 people.
That's very true. So, I'm Asclepius.
I'm Ars Malleus.
I'm the snake that eats itself, also known as Ouroboros.
And I go by Caduceus.
So, we are mostly here today to get any of you who are interested in fandubbing or abridging to answer any questions you might have, be it on the equipment you might need in terms of microphones, etc., finding a team, writing, video editing, pretty much everything that goes into the production of an abridged series or fandubbing, and as I'm sure you guys are aware, they're pretty similar. But, just to start off a discussion, who would like to tell me some of the major differences between an abridged series and a fandub? Go ahead at the back.
An abridging is like a parody, and Fandub is like trying to true translation, kind of.
Okay, that is very true. You?
Like Fandubs have like the script already there, but with a abridged series you kind of make up your
That's also true, and that's one of the biggest challenges that abridging needs to face in terms of how do you cut things short, how do you keep the major plot there, and how do you make it funny at the same time, so that's a big challenge. Anyone else?
Why don't we just get ours?
No, I think they got it. I think they got it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'd say one of the biggest, I think in terms, you have your own restrictions in terms of an abridged series versus a fandub. With fandubs, you've got to keep pretty darn close to the original dialogue. I mean, you can change some stuff here and there, especially if you disagree with, for example, censoring. In the English versions of something, you can fandub and say, ah, hell with the censoring. Whereas,
4 kids and what they did to One Piece.
Yeah. Oh god, they did so much worse. I mean, there's One Piece, but then there's just everything.
I think for those of you who are slightly older, if you watched Digimon Adventure, there was a whole big thing about, oh shoot, I forget, one of the big 4, they had a gun or something and they completely painted that one out. So yes, censoring is quite a big deal, and some people feel that's not true to it. Anyway, we're going off topic a little bit.
Well, I mean, then there's also the whole thing where it's like translations can be a bit different. You can have different interpretations for different translations.
And if you feel someone did an absolutely terrible job translating something, then yes, Yu-Gi-Oh! I think is a fairly good example of translation that was made a lot more kid-friendly. Anyway, so, I feel like we're rambling on and on.
Well, I mean, we're talking about fandubbing, but like, you're all probably here for a Brit series, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a Brit series.
Who's actually here for fandubbing? I'm now curious. Oh, wow, a few people. Okay,
Okay, fine. Who likes abridging here now?
Okay,
There you go.
so it's about the equal 50-50 split. All right, since we did put the slash in the title of the panel, that's pretty good.
That was our
Intended audience range.
So, our project is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood Abridged.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Woo!
Brotherhood. Brotherhood.
Oh.
You actually have watched us. Wow, I'm flattered.
What's the YouTube channel?
Beg pardon?
What's the YouTube channel to watch it?
The Three Philosophers. That's kind of a
Like all one word.
No, that's a bad omen.
But honestly, if you search up Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood Abridged, we're the longest standing one. Everyone else quits after like maybe 2 episodes. It's true.
Play nice.
No. See, me being mean is saying that they're terrible, but I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But in all seriousness, if you were to search Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood Abridged, we're probably going to be.
We're
among the top.
9 episode.
8.
8.
Yeah. So we're going to be like among the top.
But the YouTube channel is called The Three Philosophers. I don't advise searching for that one because YouTube tries to give you the smart search stuff. They put spaces in between them, and then they're like, "Do you mean the space three space philosophers?" And no, I didn't. I actually meant without spaces. So, whatever. We actually do have our most recent episode here today. If you guys would be interested to watch it to see what kind of work we do, quality, etc. So we're not just sitting here like total frauds giving you advice, right? No
Is
one.
the sun in the sky? Yes.
So you guys want to see it? Come on.
Woo!
There we go.
All right. So if it's too loud, someone please let me know because we've got a slightly different perspective with the speakers here. And I know what that's like.
They're right against our ears.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you will probably go down before we do.
What a lovely disclaimer. Would be a shame if something awful were to happen to it. Only kidding. Now then.
I'm just trying to get full screen. Sorry.
Just double click it.
Double click it. There we go.
Never used VLC before?
Abridging is a non-profit fan-based parody Full Metal Alchemist and its respective soundtracks are owned by Funimation Entertainment, Bones, Tokyo Broadcasting System, and Hiromu Arakawa. Music is courtesy of Jonathan Colton. Please support the official release.
Didn't your mother ever teach you that you're supposed to shake hands with people when you meet them?
Mom told me never to shake hands with strangers carrying knives.
You know what? That's pretty good advice.
Looks like I took the wrong turn in Albuquerque. Which means this must be where you transmute Philosopher's Stones.
A brilliant deduction, Sherlock. Who needs logic when you can just cut to the chase?
I'd like to call it genius, thanks. And who might you be, mystery man?
My name? Number 48, formerly known as Slicer. My profession? To guard this place against meddling kids and annoying talking dogs. Much like you. Tell you what, it's been a real boring job these last few years. Let's have some fun. You destroyed this.
Science happens! And then I win.
It's a shame that you're not as big as your ego. Allow me to cut it down to size.
Just set up a new Instagram. Guess what's on it? Hashtag Lycia.
Hughes, I'm working right now.
Come on, follow my Instagram. Hashtag Best War Bros, hashtag chillin'.
Showing off your daughter's fast track method to getting yourself killed. Have you never watched a war movie? Talking about your loved ones is almost as suicidal as wearing a red shirt on a spaceship.
Secret fence. A wonderful wife to protect me. So pretty, much love, very
They snuck out! I can't believe it!
Major Armstrong's going to have a fit.
More importantly, we're going to fail this escort mission. Ugh, let's move. Come on.
But where have they gone?
Where do you think? The one place we told them not to go.
My shoulder!
Crap! You nearly took my head off!
How shocked to notice!
That's high harmonium!
Whoa! Blake!
Let's test that.
Okay, you've made your point.
I haven't had this much fun in years.
Speak for yourself, Rust Bucket.
Tell me, once I'm done with you, will your brother be just as fun to kill?
Trust me. He'd knock your head clean off.
Oh no, you're doing it wrong. Good victims are supposed to stand still. Now look what you've done. I've gone and lost my head.
You're empty!
Let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was a butcher called Barry, who was contracted by a TV producer to play a small role in a TV adaptation of a popular manga. Barry was cast as a cross-dressing serial killer who would kidnap his own victims and transport them to their untimely ends in his freezer truck. Barry decided to get into character by chopping up random people on the street. But the producers later decided that rather than waste the budget on an entire episode, they could instead cover the character's backstory with a simple 3-minute monologue in the future episode. Unfortunately, Barry was later caught and hung for his crimes. Ah, what a travesty. But hey, that's showbiz for ya. There's a happy ending, though. Barry had such an impressive performance as a murderer that he was brought back from the dead to guard the building and put on one hell of a show. Put your hands together for Barry the Jumper!
I've never heard of you.
You're way too commonplace. Where's all the screaming, the horror, the shouts of what the hell is wrong with your body? What the hell is wrong with your body?
I want to talk.
So little brother's that good, eh? Better kill you off quick and go deal with him, too.
Now, Al!
What?
Need your luck.
This isn't over, kid.
Really? Because at this point, I think that an old-timer like you would want to shut up and quit while they're ahead.
You cocky little...
Oh, what's a talking head gonna do to me? I know, you're gonna tell me everything you know about the research done here at the Philosopher's Stone.
I don't think so.
How? Second blood seal.
Correct. Have you met my brother?
Ah, forgive me for not introducing myself before.
So which one of you was adopted?
Will you look at that? It's a wee little leprechaun, that is.
Don't call me short, you Catholic patty bastard!
Put you down to school, leprechaun.
This is bad.
Time to meet
really
your
bad.
maker.
I'm gonna die a virgin.
It involves slapping.
Now die!
Where can I get one of those?
That's 1-800-ROCK-BELL. Call now.
Oh, Christ!
It's like something out of a horror movie.
Well played.
Hey, there isn't a third relative of yours in the lakes, is there?
Nah. Well, kid, since you've given us one of the best fights I've ever had, I'll tell you everything. The head of the operation that created the Philosopher's Stones and bound us to this place is...
Now, Forsyth. A gentleman doesn't fight and tell, nor does he make headless puns.
What's Full Metal doing here?
I have
Voice.
I wonder if
Those booze.
I'll send your soul to the devil!
You were about to kill one of our precious human sacrifices, you idiots! What did you screw up with laugh? Huh?
The only way you're going to sacrifice me is over my dead body.
Well, that is the general idea. Napoleon complex much?
I'm going to transmit your poultry head into... What?
looks like he just couldn't keep it up.
For the cracked ribs I just gave you. Now be a good human sacrifice and behave.
Oh, darling, you're far more useful to us alive. Try to remember that. It's time to get rid of the evidence. Burn this place down.
And now, for my next act, let's put a smile on that face. Oh, easy access.
Freeze! Put your hands in the air.
Nice to meet you too.
I said freeze!
Aw, don't give it a cold shoulder, babe.
Sergeant, tactical retreat.
That's all, folks. Enjoy the actual explosion.
We have to go. But my brother's still in there.
Special delivery. One badly injured Full Metal Runt for you to take to the hospital right away. Oh, and I'd suggest you do it quickly before this building collapses.
Bombs and explosions within the building. These are a few of my favorite. The sound of explosives reducing a building to rubble. Final vibrations in the sound, I'd say that it's probably our neighboring Lab 5 that's making that sweet, sweet music.
No one cares about your explosion fetish, Kimberly.
Sorry, it's just been years since I've had any sort of release.
Roy! 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 Danger zone!
Okay, so that's actually the first time we've shown it in front of a live audience. Woo! So it's. Thank you for. We did have this horrible fear that we would bomb and that we would just be showing into a completely dead room and just be steadily increasing in awkwardness. But I'm glad to see that didn't happen.
Yeah, that was good.
So I guess, does anyone have any immediate questions? There's a seat at the front for one of you guys, if one of you want to take it. Actually, 2 seats up front. There's also one more up here. Still, don't remain standing. It makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, don't worry about standing. There's still a few seats.
There's actually one next to the guy with the video camera, if he can be okay with it. Hopefully, if one of you want to take it. Anyway, so immediate questions, if any.
About how to get started or anything? Yeah.
Do you guys buy like the episodes from a store and then just cover up over the voices of it?
Oh.
Do you think we buy the episodes? That's all I'm gonna say on the buying aspect. But in terms of coming up with the voices, I'm the writer, I'm the editor, and I'm the director. I kind of do a lot of this stuff. And these three are. Caduceus is also scriptwriter. Ouroboros tends to give a lot of feedback, but they mostly do voices. So
I just do funny voices.
That's the business card. We do funny voices. So in terms of coming up with the voices, sometimes we try and match what the original voice is, if necessary. With Ed, we try to match his Japanese voice. With Mustang, we also tried to match in terms of delivery. We wanted to match Mustangs. But for someone like Kimberly, for example, we kind of went balls to the walls with it, especially for Lust, which...
You haven't heard the Fandub yet.
The Führer, oh god. Okay, I'll spoil it for you guys. The Führer is German.
The Führer is German!
You wouldn't immediately think about the Führer is German with a pretty strong German accent. Surprisingly accurate.
With a high-pitched voice.
Yes,
high-pitched German voice.
So with Lust, we gave Lust a voice. We still call her she in this. She has, because when we first started, it was just me, Caduceus, and Ouroboros. That's what we called the Three Philosophers. And it was totally done as a shits and giggles kind of thing. And at the time, Lust was in the first episode. I couldn't really do a good Lust, and we were like, screw it, we'll get Ouroboros to do it. How's your Old Spice guy impression? Which is what we went with at the time, and it's kind of stuck since then. So Lust for us is a really lustful female body and a really lustful male voice, and it's just a really bad package overall.
Like, what we try to do is, for him, it's like, it started off as just being an Old Spice guy, but then it just sort of evolved into like, just try and be sensual, try and be lustful, try and be, sexy, all that. And it's it's kind of interesting to see, as you kind of saw. And we need to do that, actually.
We'll do it at some point, sure. So, does that answer your question, or? Okay, fantastic. Next.
I think there was a question.
I'll go from the back to the front. Ooh, I guess you're it, yes.
Okay, between like writing and editing and like dubbing, how long does it usually take you to do like to complete one episode?
It really does depend on the episode. Some episodes are more dialogue heavy versus action heavy. So the one you just saw is an example of a pretty action heavy episode. Our upcoming episode is dialogue heavy. It should take less time. I'm back in school full time, so it's competing with my time. I have so much time to give. So it took us about 6 months to get this one done. I hope the next one won't take us so long, but with my schedule the way it is, it takes forever.
Sorry.
Give me a second.
Yeah.
If I had unlimited free time, it would take maybe a month or two.
Well, I think one of the big things also to consider is just the fact that for us, real life will always come first, so it always takes us a really long time to get an episode out. But at the same time, like if you really worked hard at it, it shouldn't take too long. It depends on how big your quality is.
Right, your quality marker also does depend. If you want to get in every sound effect like we have, which we definitely didn't do in the first episode, that will take longer. But if you don't care so much, then it will take less time, of course. So quality is directly correlated to time spent.
Actually, pro tip, and this is something that I've learned from a lot of things. If you need to like cut out on anything, like cut out on time on anything, don't cut out on sound. You can cut out on the video quality all you want if you really had to, but if you put out on the sound quality, you're not going to get anyone watching it. People will put up with really terrible video quality as long as you can actually listen to it very well.
That's fair, yeah. I noticed with if you miss on your sound effects, for example, you drop something and there's no sound when it hits, it tends to mess with viewers' minds. So that's one thing I definitely try and include. If we, shoot, I just lost my train of thought. If I have to skimp on quality for anything, I try not to skimp on important sound effects, ever.
Or also make sure you get a good mic, because you don't want to end up having one of your voices sound like this, and it sounds very, very, very good.
Unless you're doing a Bane voice. Yeah.
Okay, so the person ahead of you, who had their hand up just now, yes, by all means.
How much does software and equipment cost, and what do you use for software?
So for the software, I'll answer that question I answered earlier. Do you think we pay for software?
Well, actually, here's the thing. What we use Audacity for. Yeah, Audacity is a very excellent sound program. She uses Audition because she's silly.
I like Audition. Adobe Audition, I like it.
Right. But in terms of actual video things, After Effects and
After Effects and Premiere.
Yeah, After Effects and Premiere are the way to go. Just make sure you're not. Well, actually no. Those are really good editing things.
If you have another editing program of choice, I think you use Final Cut.
No, I use Avid.
I thought you used Final Cut.
Never once have I ever used Final Cut.
I'm sorry, I must be smoking something amazing today.
No, I use Avid Studio. It works pretty well for me.
He uses Avid Studios. If you have a program of choice, as I said, by all means go for it. As long as it's popular enough that you can Google, how do I do X, and the program, you're pretty good. Premiere is what I went with because Team 4-Star actually has a basic tutorial for how to get started for lip-flap syncing, and he did in Premiere. So once I started doing it in Premiere, I was like, oh, I'm stuck in Premiere, screw it, I'll just talk about it.
And there's another thing. One of the big things is there's digital tutors, and on digital tutors there are some good Premiere tutorials.
That's true as well. In terms of recording equipment, because I think that's also covered under your question, do you want to know the cost, or do you want to know what we use precisely?
What you use.
What we use. How about we go, actually no, he uses my Mac. Caduceus is using my Mac, so he doesn't count.
Yeah, I don't
count. What do you use?
I use a Snowball, blue, I think, yeah, the brand is called Blue Snowball. It was about $100 at Canada Computers.
I think you could be able to get for cheaper.
No, it's a really good quality mic.
Okay, fine.
Make sure, like, if you want something like that, make sure you get a good stand, and make sure you get a pop filter.
Pop filter, yes.
Pop filters are important.
I cannot stress the importance of a pop filter.
I mean, like, you really don't want all of your hard sounds to be emphasized, like p and b and all that, because then it sounds very.
No, okay.
This one, turn it on there.
You just turned it off.
You just turned.
No, it's
I think you turned it off.
okay. Screw it.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. You get the point. You guys get the point. There.
There we go. That's
There.
a plosive, and without a pop filter, you will get that in your recordings, and it's incredibly painful. And just no, please pop filter. You can go to the dollar store, buy gardening wire, buy pantyhose, make a hoop, stick it over, tie the ends, and voila, you've got the most ghetto pop filter. Oh my God, you actually brought it?
You bring it? I brought my really ghetto-looking pop filter.
Oh my God. I've never seen this thing in person. Oh no.
This is like a legendary pop filter.
He made himself a ghetto pop filter, I reckon.
Hey, I'm like so out of money. This is the pop filter. This is literally pantyhose on cardboard, stapled together, and you stick it on here.
There you go.
Nothing. $1, and you rummage through your recycle.
Oh my God, I cannot believe you did that. This is the most ghetto thing ever. Someone take a picture. Oh my God.
Go for it.
You just hold it up. We're gonna keep talking. But yeah, there are also some other things. If you get an omnidirectional mic, this is something that I learned using my Snowball. If you get an omnidirectional mic, make sure you have it so that it only records what's in front of you. Because if you record what's behind you, you're gonna get some really bad reverb.
For my equipment, I use something similar to Chip. It's also a Blue brand mic. It's called the Snowball Ice, which is slightly below the Blue Snowball. The Blue Snowball has a little bit more features. That you can make it omnidirectional if you want. But the Blue Snowball Ice literally just takes sound that is straight ahead of it. There's no other options. It's just something that's straight. So which is good if what else are you gonna use it for? You're just gonna stick your mic right in front of you and you're gonna talk through it. It's also slightly cheaper, about $70, $60 in Panda computers. If you get it on sale, it'll be even cheaper than that. But there you go.
Yeah, Amazon Newegg as well. For me, I use something that is actually quite unusual, I think, in the voice recording community. I use a Shure SM57, which is used, I think, quite commonly in more of the music recording side of things, but I happen to like it. It works well. It's really durable, and I tend to not take care of my stuff so well. It's an XLR. For those of you who don't know what XLR is, it's a 3-prong pin, like what is going into this mixer. So I have an XLR to USB converter. It goes into my computer. The whole thing cost about $300 off of eBay, so I shelled out a bit more money than these guys did, but I use it more.
Honestly though, we're using high-end mics because we've actually taken this as a serious hobby, but if you're just taking this for like just whatever, don't panic. When we started out, I started out with a $15 mic out of Canada Computers.
Yes.
1.5. A $15 mic out of Canada Computers. It worked just as fine. I just wanted some more features, so I shelled out a little more for another one. But you can go with whatever mic you want, as long as it
doesn't sound too bad.
There you go.
Yeah.
I actually started off with a Cyber Acoustics. It's one of those like if one of those chat mics. Just just one thing on the ear and then it goes right up to your mouth. That worked well. It's $20. That's what I used for Show Tucker.
Did you?
Yeah, that's what I used for Show Tucker. But then the more stressful dialogue that's demanded of you, the better mic that you're probably.
Right. I think that answers your question in pretty much a crazy amount of detail, right? All right. Next person. Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so when taking it from the source, how do you separate or how do you layer like the background noises with the subnoise?
Okay. You know what? I have not managed to find a better way of doing this. What I do is when I start up in Premiere and I move the file into the sequence, I unlink the video and the audio. I remove all of the audio, and then I put the whole thing back together in a pain-in-the-neck manner. So nothing too fancy. Does that answer your question? Because you're looking terrified.
Oh, that's pretty much how it works.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do with the blue gear.
I'm just wondering, the same kind of with this question, I think the biggest thing that I'm wondering about is how do you get the words? Like when the sound is playing at the same time as the words are, how do you like just remove the words?
We don't. We remove all the sound, and then oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
I have downloaded I have not bought, I'm sorry, I have legal problems with AI. I'm not really supposed to talk about that kind of thing. So I have not bought the FMA Brotherhood OST. So when I listen to background music, I have a pretty good memory for what track plays when. So it's like, all right, they're playing this track at this point. Use it or use some other music track, which sometimes I use the original, sometimes I use something else, as you could see from the episode just now. In terms of sound effects like explosions, footsteps, etc., I usually just watch ahead a few episodes and I try to find as clean sound effects as I can, make those into a very short clip and then put them in. So I don't separate the original's voice and sound like what you're thinking. I pretty much just make them into separate files and put them in as necessary.
Well, I mean, like that's only if you wanted to use the background songs from the original, which we got the original soundtrack. But there are some other abridged series that don't even use any music, which I think we all know which one I'm talking about because they're the biggest one, right?
Naruto Abridged?
No, I'm talking about Team 4-Star.
No, they do.
They use music.
They barely use it. They don't always.
They do use it. They just use it a little differently.
Well,
they do
okay.
a short 30-second version.
Well, all right, fair enough. But I mean, like, it's a bit different. But at the same time, yeah, there's no other way to. You can't take it out of the episode. You have to actually get the soundtrack in. Jeez, the water. You have to literally get the soundtrack and put the things.
So you reinvent the wheel, basically.
Yes, pretty
Yeah.
much. Although if you wanted to shell out the cash for it, I'm pretty sure there are actually a bunch of stock noises. Most of them are, because I was watching Black Butler, and I noticed that they have a lot of similar sound effects. So I'm pretty sure some of it is a collection of stock anime.
Or you can go to freesound.com.
Freesound.com, it's a fantastic resource. Royalty-free sounds, if you need certain noises like, I don't know, gravel falling or something, someone out there has probably recorded it. You can use it as necessary.
And in some cases, you can record the sound effects yourself.
I did that once or twice for certain footstep noises.
Yeah, we were walking all over the place with microphones. We're like, yeah, this sounds about right.
Yeah.
We look ridiculous.
Someone's got to do it. I mean, that's how they get the original noises. They got to.
Hey, don't talk. I have to photograph textures all the time. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
Yes.
Any questions?
Does that answer your question?
Any more? Or we'll just talk about other things?
No more questions, really?
No.
Do we really answer things?
Oh, there we go.
Hello, back there. Yes, sir.
So,
oh, sorry. I could not tell. I'm sorry. The short hair
my bad.
completely threw me off. I apologize. Go ahead.
How difficult is it for you to determine the length of each episode?
We usually aim for about 10 minutes on average. Some episodes take a little longer, some episodes take a little less. So it does vary, and it usually comes to about 10 minutes from, we haven't really experienced a trying, you know, when I'm writing a script, I write it and I'm like, no, this is 16 minutes, I gotta cut it down. It's usually within the 10-minute ballpark, so I haven't had to hit a hard cap on time yet. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic.
Before we answer any more questions, actually, there are some things that I just thought about that I should bring up. But
if you want to play it, by all means, go ahead.
All right, cool.
Do you have anything to play?
Nope.
You've never been silent.
Well, it's not about that, but it's more about in general things. I know it's more about a lot of people's got into this, and this is a 101, so I'm assuming some of you guys want to get started in doing it. So at the end of the day, just do it because you enjoy doing it. Don't do it because you want to get popular. Don't do it because you want
YouTube money.
Don't do it because you want YouTube money.
We get nothing of
We
that.
get nothing. We just do it because we have fun with it.
Oh, we get a copyright by
Do it.
Oh shit!
Hey,
Can't talk about it.
Anyway, do it just because you enjoy it. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. And don't feel discouraged if you don't get a lot of views at one point. Because when it was first new and it was a big craze, everyone had to start somewhere. Even I've been following Team 4-Star since they were all on their individual channels since they started. It's all. I mean, like they all had to start somewhere, and then they just kept growing and growing. They've been at it for 8 years now. 8 years.
Really?
Like individually, they've been at it for 8 years. We've been at it for like 4, so it's like you're at the end of the day, you're gonna compete with them. Even Lenny Couture mentioned it on his AMA to her. Don't feel discouraged, and don't ever feel discouraged, and don't think that they're too big. Do it because you want to have fun with it, and if it's enjoyable, it's enjoyable. If it's not, well, at least you had fun with it. I guess that's my spiel. That's my big rant.
Seats just freed up, or
Yeah, a lot of seats just.
in the back.
All right.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you. So yeah, there you go. That's my little spiel. So if anyone has any more questions, there's.
Yes, sir.
Just back to that mic question. The ones with the headphones and the mic things, are those, do you think they're decent enough to...
It's decent enough for you to get started with. I wouldn't roll with them in the long term. I mean, it's really convenient because it's right there. You can literally hold up the script. And some of them actually come with the foam. It doesn't work as well as
the ghetto.
It's not as ghetto as this, but it does kind of filter out some of the wind noises.
Popping.
Yeah, all that popping. But you know, if you want to experiment.
As someone who's actually used, tried to use a headset for recording, if you have the choice not to, don't.
Here, I'll give you an example of what a headset's good for. A headset is good for just talking like this, you know, regular dialogue, like, you scum, stuff like that, you know, if you need to do regular dialogue. A headset is not good. It's not good in the event you need to be standing and doing this. Ah! No! That will kill your mic and that will kill everything you put into your mic because you're just going to get air and you're going to get a mad amount of noise and I can promise you your sound waves are going to look like this.
You're going to hit a ceiling.
Yep, and it's going to suck. It will peak and it will sound horrible. So it depends on what you're trying to do. And that actually, if you guys want to let me ramble a bit more, that's one of the biggest amateur problems I see in terms of being able to put enough energy into whatever take you need to do. So for example, the episode we just showed you is very fighting heavy. That was just kind of weird. And I've noticed that a lot of people tend to have issues with yelling. Yelling is one of the biggest problems that people have when they need to do fighting scenes. It's either because you have neighbors that will hate you if you try. He can tell you all about that in a second.
Oh my god. Story time.
No, hold on. Or it's fight noises, and some people get really self-conscious about making certain fight noises. Like,
Jesus Christ.
I'm not trying to do it. I swear to God. God damn it.
You turn it off.
Okay.
That's good. Alright, there you go.
So, with most animes, you get, you know, when someone's punching, you go, ha, 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 that kind of noise.
You sound like Link.
I'm surprised. My voice is kind of shot for today. So people tend to have trouble being able to make those. I'm not sure if it's a shyness or just you don't do it often or something like that, but number one, you can't use a headset mic for that, and number two, it is a common problem. But yes, Oris can tell you all about his adventures with anime.
So here's what happened. One day I was doing an announcement voice thing for a friend of mine, and what happened was I was doing it, and by the end of it, my voice was shot because it was literally all yelling. It was an announcement, so you have to like project and do it all yelling. Turns out, because I left like right afterwards because I had to go somewhere. But turns out when my mom told me that people called the cops on me. People called the cops because they thought someone was like getting beat up or something like that, or they heard a lot of yelling, so they thought that there was fighting going on. So yeah, people called the cops because of all that yelling. So yeah, yelling is
difficult.
Going back to your question with the headset. The one time I used the headset was I used the headset for video commentating for YouTube. Mostly because it's just, oh hi guys, this is Ars Malleus, bringing to you another battle for Rome Total War. But then I also used it for Show Tucker because all he really does, hello. All he does is literally, hello. Would you like to play Nina? Like some just really soft stuff. But then when you start doing Barry the Chopper, you start yelling. The mic is right here. And when you yell into that mic, you play it back, it's just like somebody screeching.
Considering the amount of times that you had to redo that.
Oh yeah. It took me so long to do that. One, because I live in, here's the thing about living in a townhouse. Everybody shares a wall. One wall to keep noises out. One.
It's not even that thick too.
Oh no.
Especially not in Scarborough.
Scarberia. Scarberia represents.
Now the big problem with me doing Barry is that I am self-conscious about it, so I sometimes like subconsciously try to just reduce the amount of volume I'm giving out, and they always point that out to me. So one day I just, go all out, just yell at them like, two of my neighbors knocked on my door. I did not answer them. No freaking way.
At the very least, his Joker laugh got better.
At what price? But so, just saying, just pros and cons to these types of things. Yes?
Would it be like, I guess it's better if you do it more naturally, but if you can't because you're self-conscious or because of neighbors and all that stuff, can you maybe like do it in a lower voice and then edit it in?
That doesn't work because if you turn the gain up, it's pretty obvious usually that the gain's just being turned up. If I were to just
actually, you can give them right here. Somebody
no, that's gonna ruin them.
Oh, okay.
But
if I were to try giving fight noises, for example, and just turn them up, so let's say standard up.
well, while she's doing that, I'm just gonna say my opinion. It's all or nothing. That's all.
Yeah,
that's
it does kind of show. So if I need to yell a line, someone give me a line to yell. Make up something. Have fun.
Who are you calling a pipsqueak midget?
Who am I calling? Who are you calling a pipsqueak midget? So let me do it song. Who are you calling a pipsqueak midget? It doesn't sound very energetic. It sounds angry, but not very energetic. Who are you calling a pipsqueak midget? If I were to turn up the previous one, would that sound the same? Would you think? No. Well, there's your answer then.
But all this has just brought up some different things since we've all been doing voices. At the end of the day, if you are going to be doing it, you're still going to have to do some acting. Voice acting is still acting. So come up with some.
You don't want to know what we do behind that behind that mic. You don't. What is it like? Happy with a stabby? Get happy with.
Yeah, that was my line to get him into Barry because into the mood to play Barry.
He's stabby happy.
It would just be like Francis, get happy about the stab. Come on, happier.
But I mean, like I told you all that I live in Scarborough. I don't. I live in North York. That's acting.
You're a regular traffic for
You card us. Well done.
But in all seriousness, try and get comfortable. This whole thing has helped a lot of us get out of our comfort zones. Just let it all out. Let out any little thing. Let out a Joker laugh. Let out a very angry, snarly, interior crocodile laugh. If you get it. My voice for Slicer was Renekton, so that's what I mean. But anyway, just all you gotta do is let it out. I mean, like we might as well just try. Does anyone want to try out doing a voice like right now? Before.
Do you want to ask one of us to do a voice?
Immediately.
So how mainstream can we do voices? Like, does it have to be like a perfect imitation, or?
It has to be your take. Nice job.
Oh,
I like that. That's good.
That's his own
okay.
voice. That's his damn dude.
Leave me alone.
It's okay, man. It's okay.
Don't worry, I don't actually sound like that.
Anyway, sorry.
Eject!
I was so embarrassed. Anyway, other hands up. Yeah, Zaki?
Can we hear it from the two gentlemen?
Hear what?
Really, I'm not a gentleman.
Of course, Shadow Tucker and probably ad-lib from our own Colonel Mustang.
Just ad-lib Hughes and Mustang.
Ad-lib Hughes and Mustang, go. Don't be afraid to heckle him, by the way. He'll keep going.
He'll heckle right back.
All right. Roy, did you hear the good news? What Hughes? Today's Alicia's birthday. It's so exciting. Do you want to invite? No, Hughes. We have reports due tomorrow. But that's tomorrow. Yes, it's tomorrow. I'm expecting reports from you. No, bye. That's just an ad-lib. You can do two different characters. You just have to switch back and forth.
I mean, like, it's always a good idea to start off with imitations, but then just like, I mean, like, don't be afraid to like pull it out. I mean, we have someone who I know is a decent Krillin in here, so just yell it out. Fucking do it, please.
Hi, my name's Krillin. How are you doing?
There it is. See, he can do a decent Krillin. His whole thing with Barry started off as an imitation of the Joker, and then it just sort of evolved. My thing for Slicer started off as an imitation of League of Legends character, and then it evolved.
Yeah, it's reenacted.
Reenacted.
Never played himself. Oh, well.
Yeah.
I don't know, this might sound weird, but I guess like with your imitation voices, you guys just like think out what they would sound like with your voice. But did you guys like maybe go look at tutorials or tips or like how to like make your voice sound different?
I mean, like the only thing you could really do is just practice. I mean, it's like anything else. All it takes is practice. I mean, you just have to get yourself out of your shell. That's it. Like
Okay, we have a question from the gentleman up front who has been wanting to ask this question for a while.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm sorry.
It's 4:50, just to let you guys know, and I think we have to clear up shortly. So let's make it 2 more quick questions.
Yeah, one.
So who had the
I was just wondering, which subs do you use like to dub? Do you use official Crunchyroll subs or do you use fan subs?
They're pretty similar. I mean, considering that we take the script and kind of show it out the window, pull it back up afterwards, it doesn't matter too much. But I use the Eclipse subs, which is the group that originally subbed FMA Brotherhood when it came out.
You don't fan sub, right?
I used to typeset for the FMA manga, but I don't fan sub.
And
final question.
I have a question about fan dubbing. What's easier for when you get started, like fan dubbing songs or actual episodes of stuff?
I would probably go with song. It depends on whether you're better at singing or dialogue, first and foremost.
Well, it depends. Like if you're going to be doing your own actual voice and you're good at singing, then I would say just songs.
Yeah, they're shorter, definitely.
Fan dubbing is a completely different animal than fan dubbing. TV series are completely different than songs, but at the same time, songs are like you have to be good at singing. Just do it in your own singing voice.
Alright, so it's 4:52 and I like to be quite punctual, but if any of you still have questions that you want to direct to any of us, feel free to come up to the front once everyone leaves and we can continue discussing.
So thanks for coming out. Really appreciate it.